Good morning. Last week was a good game, but it wasn't good enough from a standpoint. We got to find ways to hold our opponents to 3 points in the red zone. I think that was really the difference in the game when you start talking about red zone defense. It wasn't good enough last week. We were able to create some takeaways, which was great. All right, I thought we stopped the run well, which was one of our game plans going in. Gurley was so dynamic. And it's not going to be any different this week when you look at what the Ravens are able to do offensively with Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram. Got to do a great job of stopping the run. They're very dynamic in what they're doing across the board. They're able to take the top off with Brown 15. I think he does a great job for us just putting pressure on the defense vertically up the field. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Steve, how do you simulate Lamar Jackson?
Playing Madden. You know, to be honest, he's probably the closest thing that I've seen since Michael Vick. This guy is extremely dynamic, can make plays when you don't think there's a play there to be made. He's just Houdini, I guess, but phenomenal, not just with his legs, but his ability to be able to get the ball down the field as well. One of the great things that he does when he gets outside the pocket, he's not just looking to run. His eyes are still down the field. He's trying to push that ball down the field, and that's what they've been really successful with lately.
Are you going to have to go with without three starters in that secondary again?
You know, we don't know yet. You know, those guys are still trying to work back into the fold, so we'll see exactly where they are at the end of the week.
I mean, Kerry and Mitch and those other guys obviously played pretty well for you last week.
Oh, they played dynamic. Again, no reservations whatsoever last week. Those guys have started in this league, played a lot of football, and they went out and performed well last week. Had the support of their teammates, support of the coaches. I thought the coaches, assistant coaches, did an outstanding job in really preparing these guys and getting them ready to play. Particularly, you look at Justin Burris, Joe Witt spent probably 48 hours with him around the clock just trying to get him up to speed with the game plan, and he went out there and performed well.
All the talk so far has been about how Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball more, but still is running a lot more. It looked like the Chargers last year in the playoff game, the second time facing them, caught up to that. I mean, is that the game plan to emulate?
Well, it's not so much trying to emulate what the Chargers did. We're just trying to put our guys in the best position to be successful, Tony. I think really you have to stop the run first with Jackson as well as Ingram. And we're going to try to do that the best way that we can that fits within our scheme. You know, they have so many different weapons. You know, I like 89, Andrews. He's a dynamic tight end, a guy that we brought in Arizona coming out a couple of years ago with the 30 visits. So he is definitely coming to his own. He's performing well. Hey, they find him on third down. They find him in the red zone. And then again, I already mentioned, 15 Brown. So we got a lot of weapons that we got to make sure that we try to stop.
What has Ingram brought to that offense?
Toughness, the physicality, downhill runner, which is just another element of Lamar being able to pull the ball. So you get caught up really trying to play downhill, then all of a sudden now you're soft on the perimeter. So there's different elements to what they do, and I thought he brought a lot to that offense along with what Lamar is able to do already.
Are they an offense to prepare for because they have the running threat at quarterback, and because it feels like they have different packages that they use with whether it's three tight ends or just feels like they look different than a lot of other offenses we've seen?
I would say really breaking them down, pulling back the layers, different personnel groups, you're going to get all of it, but it's really all the same. It's just bodies in there, but the illusion, they run the same thing with 13 personnel that they do out of 11, and that's where they try to get you a little bit with the window dressing, but it's all the same. It's a college offense. It's really what he did at Louisville, and those kind of things. And Greg Roman, his background with Kaepernick when he was at the 49ers. So whenever you have an element of the quarterback being able to run the ball, it has an extra blocker. That's what it does. So we're preparing well for it. We've seen that offense before, so I'm very excited about going against the offense. I'm very pleased where we are right now with our game plan.
Because Lamar has a way of bringing, unique skill set, presenting unique challenges, and they're the division champs. When you took this job, did you start thinking about him? Back in the off season?
Well, we do an off-season study of our division opponents, some of the teams that we crossed over different divisions. So yes, we did do that. Again, very dynamic in what he's doing, trying to find different ways that we can come at him, find different ways that we can be able to stop Ingram as well. So we started back in the spring, so hopefully we have something good for him on Sunday.
Can a running quarterback last? I mean, that just seems. I wouldn't want to be that guy's insurance agent.
Well, I would say this right here is that he's very skillful, very elusive out in space. It's a little different in college, so I understand where you're going in regards to that. Guys at this level, you have some defensive linebackers are just as fast as these quarterbacks. So I think as you hear them talk and some of the things they're trying to get him away from running as much and really get him to push the ball down the field. So there's always an element when your quarterback runs that, you put him at harm's way. So we'll see.
Edwards compliment Ingram, and what do you think of not just Ingram, but that tandem?
Dynamic. Again, 1-2 punch. Again, we really want to look at 3 because all of them have the ability to be able to run the ball. Our number one goal each and every week is to stop the run. I think, everybody puts so much on this league being a pass-happy league, and I've said it time and time again, there's nothing more demoralizing to a defense than, 15, 20, 25-yard chunks right here. It just really just takes the wind out of yourself. So they're going to rotate them in and out. We got to do a great job of stopping the run and try to get them into 3rd and long.
Even though you might be somewhat shorthanded in the secondary, some of the guys that you do have in there, like Terrence Mitchell, TJ Carey, those guys are pretty good tacklers. So heading into this matchup against these guys, might that be a benefit?
It's always a benefit when your corners come up and support the edge, and that's what we believe in within this defense. I have, again, no reservation whatsoever about Terrence, as well as TJ. These guys have played a lot of football in this league. They performed well. Did a great job last week, and I think they're going to do the same thing this week as well.
So it's kind of out there, but would you ever show your guys how they used to stop Michael Vick back in the day?
We've shown different clips of, when Greg Roman was at the 49ers and what he did with Kaepernick. I haven't really looked at Michael Vick, no, but I do consider, as I said earlier, that Lamar is the closest thing to that.
He's got a lot of tight ends, and you've got a lot of safeties, so it would seem like this was one of the reasons you stocked up on safeties for this.
Well, not so much. I just think we try to keep the best guys. It gives us the best opportunity to win. I think they have good tight ends. Again, they're going to mix the personnel in and out, 13, 22, but it's all going to look the same. They can spread you out and make it look like 11. Again, Andrews, 89, to me is a receiving tight end. He's just as good as any, tight end that we're going to see in this league.
Javier Thomas, did he almost make your team in Arizona? Where do you see his career going from here?
It's hard to say. We like him here. We let him go early in Arizona. We're going to bring him back on the practice squad, and then Cleveland picked him up. So he is a major part of what we're doing, special team-wise. Everybody sometimes puts special teams to the back burner, but it's a major element of what we do, strong point of emphasis, and that starts with Freddie as well as Coach Prefer. So I like Javier. I think he does a tremendous job for us.
D-line, how did you think it did Sunday night? I know it felt like it was you're trying to rely on those 4 guys to get pressure. Did they get as much as you wanted them to?
You always want more. So, but I thought our D-line did a great job. Number one, really controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game. Standing our gaps. We did a great job setting the perimeter of the defense. We knew they were going to try to get outside on the jet sweeps, and I thought that's where it started. And at that particular point in time, once they started trying to get the ball down the field, you saw Larry O get a sack. I thought we were getting good pressure on the quarterback at that time.
Beyond playing Madden, is it more just film study than doing anything out there that you can do on the practice field to simulate, to go back to Dan's question earlier?
I think it is. I think it's a point of emphasis. Again, you can't relax. All right, you got to go to the echo of the whistle. It's something that you talk about all the time, but is very pertinent with this guy and the things that he can bring. You can't relax on this guy. When you think he's down and when you think you're in position, all of a sudden he makes one move and all of a sudden he's out in open space. So it's hard, yes, to simulate that in practice.
Defensive lineman, maybe what somebody might consider out of position, but just a different alignment against the Rams. Sheldon playing like a wide 9, for example. What's the thought process that goes into that, and do you get the mismatches that you're looking for?
The thought process is constantly trying to move our guys around and create different matchups. You're going to see Miles on the right side. You're going to see Miles on the left side. Last week you saw him inside, trying to create one-on-ones with the guards. And we're going to do that with all our guys across the board because teams are going to try to, turn protection. They're going to try to chip, and we got to find ways to free our guys up. So that's what you're seeing.